Hi everyone, it's Brittany, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about a few things. I have no idea what I'm going to title the video, but I really wanted to talk to you guys about a couple things that I have been encountering in my sessions recently. So, I have lots of people who will tell me that they are doing everything right. They are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're making the decision that this is who they are. And it's either not working or things will happen. They will get movement and then it'll kind of just all fall apart. And I actually worked with somebody who had asked me, okay, so I have manifested my person back 5 times. Like, when can I stop doing this? When will I finally have the relationship that I want long term? And so I said, well, when are you going to stop doing this? When are you going to stop manifesting him back and forth? And she was like, well, I don't get what you're asking me. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to have my relationship in the way that I want it. And I said, okay, so what do you think the problem is? And she was like, well, I mean, the only thing I can think of is I keep having these thoughts when he comes back that say, this is never going to work out and he's never going to change. But she's like, you told me that thoughts don't matter. And yeah, that's true. Thoughts don't matter. It's not about the thoughts. It's about the identity behind the thought. And she said, I thought I was identifying with who I wanted to be. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize. So every identity only knows itself as who it is. So the trying to manifest identity only knows that that is who it is. It doesn't know anything about success. It doesn't know anything about anything other than the trying to manifest identity. So if you're going from the version of you that has never been committed to, for example, and you're trying to shift to an identity of somebody who has always been committed to, well, remember that the current identity that you're experiencing only knows that it has never been committed to, only knows that identity. So for you to try to convince an identity that it is someone that it isn't, it's never going to accept that. It's never going to buy into that. And so what happens a lot of times is you will get some movement here and there, maybe even get your manifestation. But what happens is that it doesn't end up consistent, or you don't ever actually get this long-term experience that you're looking for. So again, because I was saying every identity only knows itself as its own identity, it knows nothing of anything but that. You have to realize that you can't shift from one identity to another identity in that way. So what do? Well, you come back and realize who you truly are here. You recognize that who you really are is the source of everything in your life experience. And when I say the source, what I mean is you are the energy. You are the source of energy that animates everything in your life. The energy that animates your SP is the same energy that animates money. It's the same energy that animates your career. It's the same energy that animates your physical body. It's the same energy that animates anything and everything in your experience. So by understanding that you are the source of that energy, realizing that nothing can exist without the source, which is you, that you are in this moment already all things. You are already everything. So when you're coming from a very limited identity that believes it's just this one singular thing, You are not going to get to an identity that believes that it's only this one thing and somehow get to a different identity. It just isn't going to work that way. So again, coming back to the I am and understanding who you really are, you are recognizing that not only am I not this identity, but I am none of these identities. Yes, I created all of them. They all exist within my awareness, but who I truly am is none of these things. Who I truly am is the faceless, formless, I am awareness behind all of these things. So I am not trying to change myself from one identity to another identity. What I am doing is selecting which identity, infinite identities available to me, by the way, but which identity I want to now animate. It's like a role or a costume. So again, using the movie analogy here, if you are an actor or an actress playing a role in a movie, no matter what kind of role you're playing, you understand that it has no effect on who you truly are. So as an actor or an actress, you play lots of different roles and you get very immersed in those roles. So you're doing that here in your experience. Like when you guys ask me, is it okay if I do this? What should I do if this happens? The 3D world means nothing. It means nothing. So what you do or don't do has no effect on anything unless you allow it to. But understanding that no matter how well you're playing a role, it still isn't who you are, then it doesn't matter what you do or don't do. So, for example, if you are choosing to experience being healthy, for example, you might be in an identity in the 3D world where you are going to doctor's appointments and taking medication. That has nothing to do with who you truly are. And again, we are going back to the faceless, formless. We're not going into who I truly am is this identity. Because remember, even when everything is amazing in your life and you're living your best life, I don't want you guys to forget that even in those moments, that is not truly who you are. Okay? Because I think it's very easy to kind of get caught up in the 3D experiences in the 3D world and just totally thinking that this is you, this is who you are. But it's not. It never will be. Okay? It never was and it never will be. So start to become comfortable with not attaching yourself to any identity. Yes, you get to choose your identities. Of course, they're all here for you to play around with. But you were never truly any of these things and you never will be. And that's the beauty in all of this. It's understanding that you don't hold on to any of these things, any of these identities, any of these experiences, and you just allow them all to be here. So with that being said, I understand that when you choose a new identity for yourself from the I am perspective, yes, there are other identities here that will try to do everything that they can to keep you in the same identity. It is not a malicious thing. It's not a bad thing. They are doing this, and I say they, and I'm talking about these identities as if they're separate. They're not. It's just a character that exists within you. So I'm just making that clear here. But every identity just wants to preserve its own existence, right? So it's going to do everything that it can to keep you there. And I think most people think of these thoughts and these feelings and these 3D experiences, by the way, because an identity will do this in all ways, not just in thought, but in feeling and 3D experiences as well. So in any case, you're still going to have those thoughts and those feelings and those experiences is what I'm trying to say. So most people look at that from a perspective of, this is so annoying. This is so frustrating. Like, I just want this identity to die. And I totally get that, guys. I understand it being annoying, but I want to suggest a different perspective for you. And I'm going to share the way that I came up with this perspective from a personal experience that I had. So I used to have a little dog, and she constantly wanted to be at my feet. No matter what I was doing, no matter where I was going, she would follow me everywhere and constantly be at my feet all the time. And of course, I would, you know, more often than not, honestly, step on her or bump into her or trip over her. And I would get so irritated and frustrated. I'm always just like, why do you have to be with me constantly? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I was just going to get a drink of water. I'll be right back. Stop freaking out. Like I'm just going to disappear. But one day I was running late for something that I had to do, and I was in my closet trying to find something to wear, and I was just rushing and really just like, frazzled, I guess. And of course, the dog was at my feet, and I tripped over her, and I fell, and I hurt my ankle. And of course, she yelped. I'm sure she got hurt too. And I was just so irritated and so frustrated. And I was just like yelling at her. And I'm like, why do you not understand this? What is wrong with you? And in that moment, I just had like a moment of clarity. And I'm like, oh my God, here I am yelling at this poor little sweet, innocent baby who only knows one thing. She only knows that I am her safety, that I am her security, that she loves me. And that's all she knows. So, of course, she's constantly following me around everywhere. All she knows is that I'm her safety. Of course, she's constantly at my feet because she loves me and wants to be with me. That's all she knows. That's all she understands. She has no idea what problems I'm dealing with. She has no idea what any of that stuff means. So, how can I be mad at her? How can I be mad at her? And that's the exact same way that I look at these identities. So what I urge you guys to do is, if you're having, unfavorable thoughts or feelings or experiences, whatever it is, just take a few moments, take some deep breaths, come back to who you really are. Remember that first and foremost. And then from there, recognize what's really going on. This is an identity that only knows what it knows. It only knows what it's experienced. And because every identity only knows its own experiences, you can't be mad. You can't be pissed off. You can't be frustrated. It's more so, wow, like this identity is so limited in what it understands and knows. I'm looking at this identity, this character with empathy and love. Instead of anger and resentment, I can just allow them the space to think and feel exactly what they're thinking and feeling, while also understanding that it has nothing to do with me and who I am. And for me personally, this has been the way that allows all of these identities to exist, because they all exist and they will forever exist, by the way. They are never going to go away forever. So the goal is not to get rid of these thoughts and these feelings or these identities themselves, but to realize that none of them are you, number one. But number two, decide which identity you choose for yourself. And that's it. The other ones are still going to be there, but they will end up becoming more of background noise than anything else. They're not going to be at the forefront of your mind constantly, bugging you all the time. But in the meantime, while you are experiencing that, understand that it's just trying to protect itself. It doesn't know anything else. So it's okay to allow it to be there. It's more than okay. In fact, that's the thing that's going to allow it to essentially die out. And like I said before, it will always exist, but die out in terms of your 3D experience. So just to reiterate everything that I've been speaking on, when you're shifting identities, when you're choosing to be a new version of yourself, you have to recognize first and foremost that you were never this current identity. It's just a role that you're playing. So you're coming back to the truth of who you are, and from understanding that you are all of it. You are all things. You are already exactly who you want to be right now in this moment. You are choosing which part of that you want to experience in this 3D world. And I also wanted to make something else clear, because many of you have things that you want to experience. So you want to manifest an SP, or you want a new relationship, or you want more money, or you want a house, whatever it is. And I want to remind you guys of something. You are never manifesting these things. It's not about these things. What you're doing is selecting from the infinite versions that are available for you to animate and choosing which one you identify with now. It's not about the things. It's never about the things. You're choosing to be the person that it would make sense for to have these things. So it's who you are, not what you have. And I've used this example with a few people, and it's a silly example, but I think it will get my point across. So if somebody came up to you and asked you, I don't know much about you, like, tell me who you are. The first thing that you're going to say is not going to be, I'm married to my SP. It's like, okay, cool. But who are you? Oh, well, I make $50,000 a week. Okay, that's interesting. But who are you? Who are you? Oh, okay. Well, I am someone who has everything that I could ever have imagined for myself. I am someone who lives such an amazing, peaceful, fulfilling life. I am someone that everything always works out for. I am someone that people trust and rely on. That is who I am. Oh, and yeah, I'm married to the love of my life. I make this amount of money, and this is where I live. Do you guys see the difference? Those things that you want to manifest are absolutely amazing. But that's all that it is. It's an appearance based off of who you know yourself to be. It's an afterthought. It's an afterthought of something that would make sense for who you know yourself to be. It's not, oh my gosh, I want to manifest a house, so let me put all of my attention and focus on having a house. It's, who are you because you have this house? You're not constantly walking around in the world telling yourself that you're a homeowner. You know, that's just not how it goes. But what you might do every now and then is reflect on what you have, reflect on this idea, this fact that you have this house, and realize that, wow, there's nothing for me to do. There's nothing for me to chase. I am exactly who I want to be. I'm living the life that I've always wanted to live. So I hope you guys are recognizing the subtle differences here, but in experience, they are drastic differences. So, okay, guys, I know that this video was helpful. I was about to say, I hope this video was helpful. I know it was helpful. And yes, it was a short little video, but these things have just been on my mind, and I really wanted to get them out there. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here with me. I love you all so, so much. Thank you for your wonderful comments. You're just so amazing. And I really do truly appreciate your guys' support so, so much. So again, thank you. Thank you for being here. And I will see you in the next video.